All right, today we're going to do something really interesting. We're going to take one of our most powerful and sometimes most confusing emotions, anger, and trace it all the way back to its source. We're going to actually map it out, see how it works, and figure out exactly how to break that cycle. So, have you ever wondered why some tiny, insignificant little thing can just set you off? Like, it triggers this huge emotional explosion. One minute everything's cool, the next, boom. You're just seeing red, and you're left wondering, wait, how did I even get here? You know what I'm talking about, right? That sudden fury when someone cuts you off in traffic, or that really sharp sting you feel when a friend or loved one seems distant. It feels so random, so overwhelming. But here's the thing. What if it's not random at all? What if, underneath it all, there's a predictable pattern, a kind of blueprint that plays out every single time? So here's what we're going to do. First step, we'll look at how anger even starts. Then, I'll show you a super useful 4-step tool for understanding it. We'll get into what I call the domino effect of suffering. After that, we'll walk through a real-life example of anger, step by step. And this is the cool part. We'll pinpoint exactly how to stop those dominoes from falling. Finally, we'll see how all of this is your key to real mental freedom. All right, section 1, how does anger actually arise? Well, the most important thing to get right off the bat is that it's not random. It's not some lightning strike out of the blue. Nope, it's a process, a chain reaction that has a very clear start, a middle, and an end. And you know, what's so fascinating is that our first instinct is always to blame something outside of ourselves, right? We blame the guy who cut us off or our friend for being weird. But here's the secret. Those are just the triggers. The real cause, the actual anger, that's a chain reaction that happens completely inside our own minds. Okay, so if we want to understand this internal process, we're going to need a tool. And luckily, there's a fantastic one. You can think of it like a simple 4-step diagnostic kit that you can use for pretty much any kind of suffering. This framework? It's the 4 Noble Truths. And look, this isn't some dusty, abstract philosophy. It's an incredibly practical tool for solving problems. Seriously, it's designed specifically to help us pinpoint the cause of our suffering, in this case anger, and then see the clear path to putting an end to it. So here's how it works. It's super logical. Step 1, you just acknowledge the problem. Okay, I'm feeling angry and it sucks. That's it. Step 2, you find the cause. You become a detective. Step 3, you realize, hey, if there's a cause, there has to be a solution, right? The suffering can end. And step 4, you actually follow the path, the practical steps to get there. All right, now for that crucial second step, finding the cause. We need to zoom in. We need a kind of magnifying glass. And this is where we get to see that domino effect of suffering in real time. The official name for this is Paticcasamuppada. I know, it's a mouthful, but you can just think of it as the chain of dependent origination. And trust me, it's the absolute key to understanding all of this. So, what does that big word even mean? It's actually super simple. It just means that things arise because of other things. Nothing just pops into existence on its own. It's like rain comes from clouds. Clouds come from evaporated water, right? It's a chain. In the exact same way, our anger depends on a whole chain of mental events that came right before it. Nothing happens in a vacuum. Okay, so this is the full map of that chain reaction. It's a chain with 12 links, and it basically shows how, starting from a place of, well, not quite getting how things work, or ignorance, this whole cascade of events gets triggered, leading right to a moment of suffering. Now, I know what you're thinking. This looks complicated, but hang with me, because we're about to see how this whole thing plays out in a super simple, everyday way. So let's make this real. We're going to take this ancient map and lay it right over a modern, everyday situation. We're going to watch step by step exactly how those dominoes fall. Okay, here's the scene. Picture this. You see someone you really care about, but instead of the usual smile and warmth, they're just cold, distant, maybe even a little dismissive. You immediately feel that unpleasant pang, right? But where does the full-blown anger come from? Well, let's trace the chain. Okay, domino 1, contact. Your eyes see their cold expression. Your ears hear their dismissive tone. That's the first domino. It immediately knocks over the next one, feeling. You get that painful, unpleasant sensation in your gut. Now here's the critical moment. That bad feeling triggers craving. But it's not a craving for something. It's a craving for that bad feeling to just stop, to go away. Then that craving hardens into clinging. This is where the story starts. Your mind latches on. They shouldn't treat me this way. This is so unfair. From there, your mind goes into becoming mode, already planning what you're going to say or do. And finally, birth. Not a baby, but the birth of an angry self. In that moment, your whole identity is the one who was wronged. And boom, the anger is fully formed.
So, if anger is just a chain of dominoes falling, that leads to a really hopeful question. How do we stop it? And the best part is, because it's a chain, you don't have to fight the whole thing. You don't have to stop the avalanche once it's started. You just have to stop one domino from falling.
So where's the weak link? Where is the easiest place to just step in and break the chain? The answer is right at the beginning. The most vulnerable point in this whole chain is that tiny little gap between the feeling and the craving that follows it. Think of it like this. That's the moment the spark has been lit, but the full-blown fire of anger hasn't caught on yet. It's our window of opportunity. And this comparison shows the solution so clearly. Look, in the normal suffering cycle, that unpleasant feeling just automatically triggers craving, that desperate need to get rid of it. But in the stopping cycle, we insert one simple, game-changing ingredient, mindfulness. And with mindfulness, the unpleasant feeling still shows up, but the craving, it just doesn't arise. The next domino never falls. So what does that actually look like in practice? It means when that painful feeling arises, you just notice it. You become aware of it as just a raw sensation in your body. You don't label it bad or unjust or wrong. It's just a feeling. And by simply being aware of it, without that frantic urge to make it go away, you stop the chain. The whole process just fizzles out right there.
And that brings us to the real payoff here. Because this isn't just some neat little trick for managing anger. Really understanding this cycle, well, that is the path to real, genuine mental freedom. There is a quote that really hits the nail on the head here. The idea is, once you can clearly see the mechanics of your own mind, once you see the dominoes, you're no longer a victim of your emotions. You get it. You understand how they're built. And that understanding just dissolves so much of the doubt and confusion that anger brings with it.
And this right here ties everything back to that 4-step tool we talked about. Remember step 4? Follow the path? Well, this is the path. The active practice of using your mindfulness to see the dominoes as they're about to fall and then choosing not to push them. That's it. That's the work. So I want to leave you with a final thought. The next time anger visits, the next time you feel that flash of frustration or that sting of heart, what are you going to see? Are you just going to see a big, overwhelming emotion that's taking you for a ride? Or are you going to see the first couple of dominoes starting to woggle, knowing that you and you alone have the power to just let them be and not push the next one over?